No one from my family came to my wedding, not even my parents or my best friend. They all went to my sister's engagement party instead. But as we sliced the cake, my phone lit up with a message from my mom. "We need to talk now." Then came 36 missed calls. Can you imagine standing at your own wedding, about to cut the cake, completely surrounded by love, only to have your phone light up with 36 missed calls from the very family who abandoned you? And then a gut-wrenching text from your mom, "We need to talk." Now, what the hell could have happened to cause that kind of emergency right in the middle of my big day? Story begins. Honestly, I was there, in my beautiful white dress, my hand clasped with my new husband, Jason's, ready to slice into our wedding cake. Laughter and applause filled the room, but a hollow, aching feeling had settled deep in my chest. Not a single member of my blood family was there among the guests. Just friends and Jason's wonderful, loving family. That's when my phone vibrated in my hidden pocket. My mom's name flashed across the screen. "We need to talk now." Below it, those 36 missed calls. My stomach dropped like a stone, a mix of dread and burning curiosity. It hurts, when your own family chooses to hurt you the most. But to truly understand why my family skipped my wedding and the incredible chaos that followed, I need to take you back to where it all began. I grew up in what looked like the perfect suburban household in Ohio. Daniel, Evelyn, and my younger sister, Harper. From the outside, we were the quintessential American family, matching Christmas sweaters, annual beach vacations. But behind closed doors, I always felt like an emotional orphan. Harper, 3 years my junior, might as well have worn a crown from the day she was born. Blonde curls, a dimpled smile, this magnetic, outgoing personality. She danced ballet, played violin, and everyone just adored her. And I was never jealous of her talents or beauty, not really. What absolutely crushed me was how starkly, how obviously, my parents treated us differently. Mom, I got accepted into the advanced science program. I remember announcing one evening during my sophomore year of high school, clutching the congratulatory letter like it was a lifeline. My mom barely glanced up, her attention fixed on helping Harper with a dance costume. "That's nice, honey. Put the letter on the counter so Dad can see it later." That was it. But when Harper won 3rd place in a local dance competition that same week, our parents took us all out for a celebratory dinner. Champagne for them, a toast to our little star. I sat there, quietly pushing food around my plate, wondering why my achievement was worth nothing more than a passing acknowledgement. This wasn't a one-off, it was the story of my entire childhood. I excelled in math and science, earning scholarships and academic awards, but my accomplishments were always overshadowed by whatever Harper was doing. My parents even missed my high school graduation because Harper had a recital. "You understand, right? This is really important for her future," Mom explained, her voice tinged with a familiar dismissiveness when I expressed my disappointment. I did understand, but that didn't make the ache any less profound. By college, I'd accepted my place. I stopped calling home as frequently, knowing conversations would inevitably shift to Harper's latest triumph. I built my own life, found friends who genuinely valued me, and poured myself into my biomedical engineering degree. My senior year, I graduated with highest honors. My parents promised they'd attend. I reserved 4 seats, 2 for them, 1 for Harper, and 1 for my best friend, Naomi. The morning of graduation, I got a text from my mother. Harper got a call back for a major audition. "We need to drive her to New York." "So proud of you, though. Take pictures." Only Naomi's seat was filled that day. Naomi became the family I chose. She was my rock, listening patiently, holding me through tears after particularly difficult holiday visits or ignored birthday calls. Then, when I was 26, I met Jason Bryant at a friend's birthday. He was tall, with these incredibly kind brown eyes and a laugh that was infectious. On our 3rd date, I found myself pouring out my family story, expecting the usual sympathetic but uncomfortable response. Instead, Jason reached across the table, took my hand, and looked me right in the eye. "That is not normal or okay, Sophia. You deserve better from the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally." No one had ever validated my feelings so directly before. For years, I'd wondered if I was the problem, if I was just being overly sensitive. Jason helped me see that my pain was legitimate, and my family dynamics were genuinely unhealthy. He encouraged me to set boundaries, to see a therapist. Dr. Winters helped me understand emotional neglect and how it had shaped my entire self-worth. It was painful, but incredibly liberating, to finally accept my family's limitations. I stopped desperately seeking their approval and started building a life that made me happy. Jason became my anchor. His family welcomed me with open arms. His mother, Linda, called just to chat. His father, Robert, sent me articles about science. His sister, Olivia, became the sister I'd always longed for. "You're part of our family now," Linda told me once, and I cried in their guest bathroom, overwhelmed by such simple, unconditional kindness. Jason found me there, held me without a word. He understood. I made a promise to myself. I would stop measuring my worth by my family's inability to see it. I would break this cycle if I ever had children. Little did I know, that resolve would be tested so severely when Jason and I decided to get married. Jason proposed on our 2-year anniversary at the indie movie theater where we had our first date. The film paused and a custom trailer played, filled with photos and videos of us, set to our favorite song. When the lights came up, he was on one knee. "Sophia Jenkins, you are the strongest, kindest, most brilliant woman I have ever known. Will you marry me?" Through tears and laughter, I said yes, and the entire theater erupted. It was perfect. That night, celebrating in our apartment, the anxiety began to creep in. I had to tell my family. "They'll be happy for you," Jason assured me, though his slight hesitation betrayed his uncertainty. The next day, I called my parents, my stomach in knots. My mom answered. "Hi, Mom. I have some news. Jason proposed last night, and I said yes. We're engaged." A pause. Just a beat too long. "Oh, that's good. Congratulations." No excitement. No questions about the ring. "We're thinking about a spring wedding, maybe 6 months or so." I tried to generate enthusiasm. "That's quite soon. Well, let us know the details when you have them." Another pause. "Harper just got the lead in a local theater production, by the way. We're so thrilled for her." Just like that, my engagement was completely overshadowed. Again. Despite their lukewarm response, we forged ahead with our plans. A small, intimate ceremony at a charming historic venue in Cambridge, about 60 guests. We chose flowers, a caterer, a photographer. Every decision felt right, like we were truly building our future. For months before the wedding, we sent out invitations, including ones for my parents, Harper, and a few extended family members. Weeks passed. No RSVP. I finally called my mom, trying to keep the anxiety out of my voice. "Did you get the invitation, Mom? The venue needs a final headcount soon." "Yes, we got it. Your father and I have been meaning to call you about that. We'll try to make it, of course, but you know how busy things get." My voice strained. "It's my wedding day, Mom. I would really like you all to be there." "Of course, honey, we'll do our best." Each conversation was the same. Promises to attend, but excuses for any help or involvement. My dad mumbled about checking his schedule when I asked about a father-daughter dance. Through it all, Naomi was my saving grace. She took on the maid of honor role with an enthusiasm that made up for my family's indifference. Bridal shower, dress shopping, tearful venting sessions. "They'll come around," she'd say. "And if they don't, I'll be standing right beside you. You are not alone, Sophia." Jason's family, too, stepped up. Linda helped with seating. Robert insisted on contributing. Olivia threw me another bridal shower. My relationship with my own family grew more strained. Calls were met with distraction. Harper rarely texted back, super busy. I tried to tell myself it was pre-wedding stress, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. Still, I clung to hope. Despite years of disappointment, some childish part of me believed that my wedding day would be different. Surely, this milestone would be important enough for their full attention. Naomi's words echoed in my head. "Your wedding will be perfect because it's about you and Jason. Everything else is just details." I held on to that like a lifeline, never imagining how dramatically my family would prove me wrong. 2 weeks before my wedding, I was scrolling through Instagram during lunch when my thumb froze over a photo. It was Harper, beaming, her left hand prominently displayed, a sizable diamond ring sparkling. The caption, "He asked, I said yes. Hashtag future Mrs. Williams." My heart stopped. Harper was engaged to Patrick Williams, a guy she'd been dating barely 6 months, and no one had bothered to tell me. The comments were flooded with congratulations, including from my parents. My mom had written, "So happy for my beautiful baby girl. Can't wait to celebrate this weekend." My hands shaking, I called my mother immediately. She answered, cheerful, until she realized it was me. "Sophia, is everything okay? I'm a bit busy right now." "Harper is engaged?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. A pause. "Oh, you saw the post." "Yes, Patrick proposed last weekend. It was so romantic." "And why did nobody tell me?" I interrupted, anger rising. "Well, honey, you've been so busy with your own wedding plans. We didn't want to bother you." Something in her tone was off. I pressed further. "Mom, what's this about celebrating this weekend? My wedding is in 2 weeks." Another long pause. "Harper is having a small engagement party on Saturday. Just family and close friends." My stomach dropped. "This Saturday? But that's my wedding day." "Is it? Oh, dear, I thought your wedding was the following weekend." Her voice sounded falsely confused. Harper's had this date planned for her party for a while now. How could she have planned it weeks ago when she just got engaged last weekend? I asked, logic cutting through my shock. "Well, they've known they were getting engaged. They just made it official recently," my mother hedged. Then her voice took on this irritatingly reasonable tone. "Honey, would it be possible for you and Jason to reschedule? We've already put down deposits for Harper's party, and everyone's made arrangements." The request was so outrageous, so incredibly hurtful, that for a moment, I couldn't speak. Reschedule my entire wedding, with all the vendors booked and guests invited, because my sister decided to have her engagement party on the same day? "No, Mom, we cannot reschedule our wedding. We have 60 people coming. Contracts signed, everything arranged." "Well," she sighed, as if I was being unreasonable, "I suppose we'll have to figure something out. But you know how important this is for Harper. She's been dreaming of this engagement for months. And I've been planning my wedding for 6 months." I snapped, my voice rising despite my efforts. "You all RSVP'd. Dad is supposed to walk me down the aisle. We'll try to make it to part of your ceremony," she offered, as if suggesting a compromise. "Maybe we can split our time between both events." I ended the call, too stunned and hurt to continue. I immediately called Naomi, who expressed appropriate outrage. "That is insane," she declared. "They cannot expect you to share your wedding day, or worse, reschedule it for an engagement party. Not even her actual wedding." "What should I do?" I asked, fighting back tears at my desk. "Nothing," she said firmly. "You do absolutely nothing except have your beautiful wedding as planned. If they choose Harper's party over your wedding, that is on them, not you. And I promise you, Sophia, I will be right there with you the entire day. You will not be alone." Jason was equally supportive, though I saw the anger flash in his eyes before he controlled it for my sake. "Your family is making a choice," he said gently. "And it's a poor one that reflects on them, not on you. Our wedding will be wonderful because we'll be surrounded by people who truly love and support us." "But what if none of my family comes?" I asked, voicing my deepest fear. "Then we will still get married, still celebrate, and still begin our life together," he said firmly. "My family will be there, our friends will be there, and most importantly, we will be there, promising to be each other's family for the rest of our lives." I tried to take comfort in his words, but the pain of potential abandonment by my entire family on what should be one of the happiest days of my life was overwhelming. That night, I sobbed in Jason's arms until I had no tears left, mourning not just their likely absence, but the family relationship I had always longed for and never truly had. The next day, I texted Harper directly. "Congratulations on your engagement. I wish you had told me personally. Is there any way you could reschedule your party? I would love for you to be at my wedding." Her response came hours later. "Thanks. Sorry. Everything is already set for the party. Maybe you could come for a little bit after your reception. It's going to be epic." The casual disregard, The complete lack of recognition that I could hardly attend her engagement party during my own wedding reception was the final straw. I didn't respond. Over the next few days, I received a few more texts from my mother, each making it increasingly clear they had chosen Harper's celebration. The last one read, "We will try to stop by your ceremony if we can get away from setup for Harper's party. Hope you understand. Family comes first. Family comes first." The bitter irony of that statement was not lost on me. In their minds, Harper was family. I apparently was not. The day before my wedding arrived with a flurry of last-minute details. Our wedding rehearsal was scheduled for 5. I hadn't heard from my family in 3 days, despite leaving several voicemails asking if they'd at least attend the rehearsal and dinner. The historic venue looked beautiful as Jason and I arrived early. "Your family hasn't arrived yet," the coordinator asked as the start time approached. "They might be running late," I said, the lie tasting bitter. Jason squeezed my hand. His family arrived, one by one, all smiles and excitement. His mother hugged me, his father clapped Jason on the back, and Olivia began taking photos. At 5:30, still no sign of my family, we started without them. The officiant guided us. Jason's 12-year-old cousin practiced his ring-bearer role. Everything was lovely, except for the glaring absence on my side of the aisle. As we finished, my phone vibrated. I pulled it out, hoping against hope. Instead, it was my mother, busy preparing for Harper's party tomorrow. "Good luck with the rehearsal. Love you." I shoved the phone back into my pocket, determined not to let anyone see how much that casual dismissal hurt. But Jason knew me too well. "They're not coming, are they?" he asked quietly as we walked to the rehearsal dinner. "No," I replied, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. "They're busy preparing for Harper's party." His jaw tightened, but he just nodded. Their loss. The rehearsal dinner was at an Italian restaurant. Jason's parents had reserved a private room, beautifully decorated. Place cards marked each seat, including spots for my absent family members. I made it through appetizers before excusing myself to the restroom, where I leaned against the sink, taking deep breaths to push back the tears. This was supposed to be a happy time, and I refused to let my family's choices ruin it completely. When I returned, Linda had removed the empty place cards and rearranged the seating to close the gaps. She gave me a small smile and a wink. A rush of gratitude flooded me. The dinner proceeded with toasts, stories, and laughter. Naomi sat beside me, her presence a constant comfort. "Tomorrow will be perfect," she assured me as we left. "I'll be at your hotel at 9 with coffee and breakfast. We'll get you ready and make you the most beautiful bride Boston has ever seen." I hugged her tightly. "I don't know what I'd do without you." "You'll never have to find out," she promised. Back at the hotel, Jason kissed me goodnight. "This time tomorrow, we'll be husband and wife. Nothing else matters." Alone in my hotel room, I allowed myself one last attempt. I called my father, heart pounding. "Hello," he sounded distracted. "Dad, it's Sophia. I just wanted to check if you're still planning to come tomorrow to walk me down the aisle." A long pause. "Sophia, I'm sorry. Your mother needs me to help with Harper's party. There's so much to do, and you know how important this is to your sister." "More important than your oldest daughter's wedding?" I asked, my voice breaking despite my best efforts. "That's not fair. We didn't realize the dates would conflict." "There is no conflict, Dad. You chose." I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. "I'm sorry you feel that way," he said stiffly. "I hope you have a nice wedding." The call ended. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. No more tears came. I felt hollow, empty, as if something had finally broken inside me that could never be repaired. My phone chimed. A text from Naomi, just checking in. "How are you feeling, bride-to-be?" I managed to respond, "I'm okay. Looking forward to seeing you in the morning." Her reply came quickly, "About that. I'm so sorry, but something urgent has come up. Family emergency. I might be a little late, but I'll definitely be there before the ceremony. Don't worry." A small flicker of unease stirred in my stomach. Naomi had never been vague. "Everything okay? Anything I can help with?" I texted back. "All good. Just need to handle this. Get some sleep. Big day tomorrow." Something about her response felt off, but I was too emotionally drained to analyze it. I scrolled mindlessly through social media to distract myself, only to freeze when a new post from Harper appeared. It was a selfie of her trying on what looked like a party dress, final fitting for tomorrow's big day. Can't wait to celebrate with everyone who matters. The location tag caught my eye, Bellamy's Boutique, the same upscale shop where Naomi had mentioned she needed to run an errand earlier that week. With a growing sense of dread, I tapped on the photo to see who had liked it. And there, among the names, was Naomi's. And worse, a comment from her, posted just 30 minutes ago. You look stunning. Can't wait for tomorrow. My hands shaking, I switched to Naomi's profile and found a story she had posted. Then quickly deleted. But not before Instagram's posted 1 hour ago marker confirmed it. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. My best friend. My maid of honor. The one person who had promised to stand by me no matter what. She was planning to attend Harper's engagement party instead of my wedding. I called her immediately. Straight to voicemail. I texted, I saw Harper's post and your comment. Are you going to her party instead of my wedding? Minutes passed. No response. Then, 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. And then, I'm so sorry, Sophia. Harper reached out and said how much it would mean to her if I could come. I thought maybe I could do both, but the timing won't work. I should have told you directly. I feel terrible. The betrayal was complete. I turned off my phone, unable to bear any more communication. Curling up on the hotel bed, still fully dressed, I let the tears come. Ugly, wrenching sobs that left me gasping for breath. Everyone who was supposed to love me had chosen Harper. Again. Even on my wedding day. I must have cried myself to sleep because the next thing I knew, my phone was ringing and sunlight streamed through the curtains I'd forgotten to close. Groggy, I answered. Sophia, it's Allison. I'm in the lobby with coffee and bagels. Can I come up? Allison Turner had been my roommate junior year of college. We'd stayed in touch, and I'd invited her more out of nostalgia than close friendship. I hadn't expected her to show up. Sure, I croaked, my voice rough from crying. Room 312. A few minutes later, a knock. I opened it to find Allison with 2 coffees and a bakery bag. Hey, bride, she said cheerfully, then stopped dead when she saw my face. Whoa, are you okay? That simple question shattered the fragile composure I'd managed to gather. To my horror, I burst into tears again, right there in the doorway. Allison didn't hesitate. She set the coffee down and pulled me into a hug. Hey, it's okay. Whatever it is, we'll fix it. Between sobs, I told her everything. My family choosing Harper, Naomi's betrayal, how I was now without family or a maid of honor. When I finished, Allison pulled back, looking me directly in the eyes. Okay, first of all, your family and Naomi are garbage people right now. Second, I am here and I'm not going anywhere. If you'll have me, I'd be honored to step in as your maid of honor today. You would do that? I asked, stunned. Absolutely. What are friends for? Now, drink this coffee while I call the hair and makeup people to confirm they're coming at 9. Then we're going to make sure you have the most beautiful, meaningful wedding day possible, regardless of who is or is not there. In that moment, with Allison taking charge, showing me more loyalty than people I'd considered much closer, a small spark of hope returned. Maybe this day could still be salvaged. Thank you, I said simply, taking the coffee. No thanks needed. Now let's get you ready to marry the love of your life. The morning passed in a blur. Hair and makeup artists transformed my tear-swollen face into something radiant. Allison was an exceptional stand-in maid of honor, anticipating my needs, making me laugh with forgotten college stories, and distracting me from my absent family. By the time I stepped into my wedding dress, a simple but elegant A-line with delicate lace, I almost felt like the bride I had imagined. Almost. The hollow feeling returned. No mother to help with my veil, no father to walk me down the aisle. You look absolutely beautiful, Allison said, helping with the final touches. Jason is going to be speechless. I managed a small smile. I just wish. I know, she said gently. But today is still your day. Focus on Jason. on the life you're building together. That's what matters most. A knock on the door interrupted us. Allison opened it. Robert, Jason's father, stood there in his tuxedo, looking slightly nervous. I hope I'm not intruding, he said, his kind eyes finding mine. Jason mentioned that your father, well, that he might not be here today. I wanted to offer my services if you'd like someone to walk you down the aisle. No pressure at all, just an option. The unexpected kindness brought fresh tears to my eyes. I would be honored, Robert. Thank you. He nodded, clearly emotional himself. The honor is all mine, Sophia. You've made our son happier than we've ever seen him. You're already part of our family. Today just makes it official. As we arrived at the venue, my phone remained silent. No messages from my parents, Harper, or Naomi. I'd known not to expect them, but the confirmation of their absence still stung. I took a deep breath and handed my phone to Allison. Hold this for me. I don't want any distractions. Absolutely, she said, turning the ringer off. The coordinator guided us. Through the window, I saw guests arriving, filling seats on both sides of the aisle, despite knowing most would remain empty on my side. 5 minutes, the coordinator announced. Suddenly, the reality hit me. I was getting married. Without my family. The mix of joy and sadness was disorienting. Ready? Robert asked, offering his arm as the music began. I nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. Walking down the aisle was surreal. I registered the smiling faces, heard the soft gasps, but everything seemed slightly out of focus until my eyes found Jason, waiting at the altar. His face, when he saw me, was everything I could have hoped for: awe, love, absolute certainty. I was vaguely aware of the empty front row on my side, the seats reserved for family that would remain unoccupied. But as Robert placed my hand in Jason's, the pain of those absences receded, replaced by the warmth of Jason's touch and the love shining in his eyes. You look incredible, he whispered. The ceremony was brief but meaningful. We'd written our own vows. Jason's brought tears to my eyes and laughter from our guests. Sophia, he began, I promise to be your partner and equal in all things. I promise to celebrate your victories as if they were my own. To stand beside you through whatever challenges we face, and to create a home where you always know your worth is never in question. You are the strongest person I know, and I am in awe of your resilience and grace. Today, I am not just gaining a wife, but creating a family with you. One where love is never conditional and support is never withheld. I love you, all of you, exactly as you are. The reception was held in the same venue, a beautifully decorated hall with twinkling lights. Despite the notable absences, the room felt full of love and joy. Jason's extended family and our friends filled the space with laughter. If anyone noticed the bride with no family, they were kind enough not to show it. We had our first dance too, at last, by Etta James. When the song ended, Jason's father stepped forward to dance with me for the father-daughter dance, a gesture that brought fresh tears to my eyes. Thank you, I whispered. For everything. You are family now, he replied simply. That's what family does. The evening progressed with toasts, dinner, and more dancing. I found myself genuinely enjoying the celebration despite the ache that lingered. Jason rarely left my side, as if sensing when my thoughts drifted. Finally, it was time to cut the cake. A 3-tier creation decorated with fresh flowers. Jason and I stood behind it, smiling for the photographer. Ready? He asked. I nodded, and we pressed the knife into the bottom tier. Everyone applauded as we made the first cut. It was at that precise moment that I felt my phone vibrate in the hidden pocket of my dress. I'd retrieved it from Allison during cocktail hour, not wanting to be completely disconnected. As Jason began cutting slices, I discreetly checked the screen. A message from my mother, we need to talk now. Below it, notifications for 36 missed calls, all from my mother, father, and even Harper, all within the last hour. My stomach dropped. What could possibly have happened that would prompt such an urgent barrage after they had all but abandoned me today? Everything okay? Jason asked, noticing my expression. I showed him the screen. I don't know what to make of this. Whatever it is can wait, he said firmly. This is our wedding day. They made their choice earlier. Part of me agreed, wanted to silence my phone and continue celebrating. But another part, the part that had always hoped for reconciliation, for understanding, for the family relationship I'd never truly had, made me hesitate. What if something is really wrong? I asked. Jason studied my face, then sighed. If you want to call them back, I understand. But remember, you don't owe them your time today. This day is ours. I squeezed his hand. I'll step outside for just a minute. If it's nothing important, I'll come right back. Finding a quiet corner in the venue's garden, I dialed my mother's number. She answered on the first ring, her voice tearful and frantic. Sophia, oh, thank God. We've been trying to reach you for hours. I was getting married, Mom, I said, unable to keep the edge from my voice. What is so urgent? What she said next would change everything I thought I knew about this day, about my relationship with my family, and about the sister I had always believed simply outshone me. It's Harper, my mother said, her voice breaking. Patrick called off the engagement right in the middle of the party. He said he couldn't go through with it because Harper told him what she did to you. I sank onto a nearby bench, trying to process her words. What do you mean? What did she do to me? My mother's breathing was uneven, punctuated by sniffles. Harper lied to us, Sophia, about everything. She deliberately scheduled her engagement party on your wedding day. She told us that you had changed your wedding date and didn't bother to tell us because you didn't want us there. The world seemed to tilt beneath me. What? She showed us texts from you saying you wanted nothing to do with us, that you were having a private ceremony with just Jason's family because they were your real family now. She said you specifically asked us not to come. My hand trembled as I gripped the phone tighter. Mom, I never sent any texts like that. I've been calling and messaging for weeks, begging you all to come. I know that now, she admitted, her voice small. Patrick confronted Harper today after she made a comment about finally being the center of attention. When he pushed her on it, she broke down and admitted everything. She created fake text conversations, deleted your real messages from our phones, even hid the physical invitation you sent. I struggled to breathe, the magnitude of Harper's deception overwhelming me. But why would you believe I wouldn't want you at my wedding? After all the times I called, all the voicemails I left. She had an answer for everything, my father's voice cut in. I realized I was on speakerphone. She said you were just keeping up appearances, that you had told her the truth about how you really felt. We should have questioned it more. Should have called you directly instead of just through Harper. But she was so convincing, Sophia. She even cried about how hurt she was that you didn't want your own family at your wedding. The pieces were falling into place. But one question remained. What about Naomi? Why did she choose Harper's party over my wedding? Another pause. This one heavy with shame. Harper told Naomi that you had asked someone else to be your maid of honor. She showed Naomi fake texts from you saying you had only asked her originally out of obligation, but had found someone you connected with better. Harper convinced her that coming to the engagement party would be better than facing humiliation at your wedding. I closed my eyes, recalling Naomi's sudden change, her vague excuses. It all made sense now in the most twisted way possible. Where is Harper now? I asked, my voice surprisingly steady despite the storm inside. She left after Patrick broke things off. We don't know where she went, my mother's voice cracked again. Sophia, we are so sorry. We failed you completely. I don't expect you to forgive us, but we needed you to know the truth. I need to process this, I said, my mind reeling. I'm in the middle of my wedding reception right now. Of course, my father said quickly. We couldn't wait another moment to tell you. Is there any chance we could see you tonight or tomorrow, whenever you have time? The request was surreal. My wedding day, which I had imagined since childhood would include my family, was almost over. They had missed the ceremony, the vows, the first dance. Everything that couldn't be recreated. I'll text you the address of our hotel, I said. We'll be back there around 11 tonight. You can meet us in the lobby. After ending the call, I sat motionless, trying to comprehend the magnitude of Harper's betrayal and my parents' gullibility. How could Harper have orchestrated something so elaborate, so cruel? And how could my parents have believed her so easily without ever speaking directly to me? Sophia? Jason's voice broke through my thoughts. He stood a few feet away, concern etched across his features. You've been out here for almost 15 minutes. Is everything okay? I looked up at him, my husband of just a few hours, and felt a rush of gratitude for his steady presence. No, I answered honestly. Nothing is okay, but I think maybe it will be eventually. I told him everything, watching his expression shift from shock to anger to disbelief. That is. He struggled to find words. I don't even know what to say. Harper deliberately sabotaged our wedding day. She manipulated everyone. That goes beyond sibling rivalry or jealousy. That is calculated cruelty. I told them we would meet them at the hotel after the reception, I said. I need to hear them say all this to my face. I need to understand how they could believe I would exclude them from my wedding. Jason took my hands. Are you sure you want to do this tonight? We can wait until after our honeymoon if you need time. I shook my head. No, I need closure before we leave. I can't carry this with me for 2 weeks. Then we will face them together, he said firmly. Whatever you decide after hearing them out, I will support you completely. We returned to the reception. For the remainder of the evening, I went through the motions, smiling and thanking people, dancing with Jason and his relatives, all while my mind kept returning to the revelation that had turned my understanding of my family upside down. At 10:45, we made our exit. We changed quickly at the hotel and went down to the lobby. My stomach was in knots, my thoughts a chaotic jumble. They arrived at 11:15. My parents, looking haggard and red-eyed. My mother rushed toward me, arms outstretched, but stopped short when I instinctively stepped back. Let's go somewhere more private, Jason suggested, gesturing toward a small meeting room off the lobby. Once inside, with the door closed, the four of us stood in awkward silence until my father spoke. Sophia, we don't expect forgiveness. What we did, believing Harper over you, missing your wedding, it is unforgivable. But we need you to know how deeply, profoundly sorry we are. Sorry doesn't change the fact that you missed my wedding, I said, my voice tight. Or that you believed I would exclude my own family without even picking up the phone to ask me directly. You're right, my mother whispered, tears streaming down her face. There's nothing we can say to justify our actions. We failed you as parents, not just today, but for years. Why was it so easy for you to believe I wouldn't want you there? I asked, the question burning inside me. What kind of relationship did you think we had that would make that believable? My parents exchanged a pained look before my father answered. The truth is, we knew we hadn't been good parents to you, Sophia. We knew we had favored Harper, made excuses for missing your important moments, failed to celebrate your achievements the way we should have. When Harper told us you didn't want us at your wedding, part of us believed it because we felt we deserved that rejection. So you just accepted it, I said, without fighting for a relationship with me, without even trying to make amends? We were cowards, my mother admitted. It was easier to believe Harper's lie than to face the truth of how we had failed you. And she's our daughter, too. So we never imagined she would lie about something so important. Where's Harper now? I asked. Why isn't she here apologizing herself? We don't know, my father said. She left after Patrick confronted her. She's not answering our calls either. I shook my head, overwhelmed. I don't understand how she could do this. We've had our issues, but this level of deception, of cruelty. I think she has always been jealous of you, my mother said quietly. Your intelligence, your independence, the genuine relationships you build. We spoiled her, made her the center of attention. But I think deep down she wanted what comes naturally to you, real connections, real accomplishments. Jason, who had been silent, spoke up. That might explain her feelings, but it doesn't excuse her actions. What she did was deliberate and destructive. You're right, my father agreed. There is no excuse. And we enabled her behavior for years by always giving in to her demands and tantrums. I looked at my parents, really looked at them, maybe for the first time in my adult life. They seemed smaller somehow, diminished by their guilt and shame. Despite everything, a part of me ached for the family we could have been, should have been. I cannot forgive you tonight, I said finally. I don't know if I can ever fully forgive missing my wedding. But I am willing to try to build something new going forward if you are truly committed to change. They both nodded eagerly, tears flowing freely now. That means acknowledging the patterns that got us here, I continued. It means therapy, both individually and as a family. It means real accountability, not just for today, but for years of emotional neglect. Anything, my mother said immediately. We will do anything. And Harper needs professional help, too, I added. What she did goes beyond normal sibling rivalry. We know, my father agreed. When we find her, getting her help will be our priority. We talked for another hour. It was painful but necessary, the conversation beginning the process of exposing the dysfunctional patterns that had defined our family for decades. No magical reconciliation happened that night. No tearful group hug that erased years of hurt. But something shifted. A door opened that had long been closed. As Jason and I finally headed up to our room, emotionally drained, but strangely at peace, he squeezed my hand. Are you okay? I considered the question. Not yet, I said, but I think I will be. 6 months passed since our wedding day. Jason and I settled into married life, learning the rhythms of being partners. Our honeymoon in Greece had been beautiful, a much-needed escape from the drama that overshadowed our wedding. For 2 weeks, we explored ancient ruins, swam in crystal-clear waters, and began to heal. Upon our return, the real work began. True to their word, my parents had started therapy, individually and together. They suggested family therapy with me, which I agreed to after some hesitation. Every Thursday, we met with Dr. Patterson, a family therapist specializing in adult family dynamics and estrangement. Healing is not linear, Dr. Patterson reminded us. There will be progress and setbacks. The important thing is commitment to the process. Harper had resurfaced 3 days after the wedding, calling my parents from a hotel room, ashamed and afraid. They convinced her to come home and immediately found her a therapist. It took 2 months before I agreed to see her. We met at a neutral location, a quiet cafe. She looked different, smaller somehow, without the confidence and charm that always radiated from her. I don't know where to begin, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Sorry seemed so inadequate for what I did. Why? I asked simply. It was the question that had haunted me. Why would you go to such lengths to ruin my wedding day? Harper stared into her untouched coffee. I've been seeing a therapist, and we've been talking a lot about this. About why I did what I did. She took a deep breath. The simple answer is jealousy, but it's more complicated than that. She explained how she had grown up feeling like she had to be perfect, had to perform to keep our parents' attention. They praised me publicly, but privately they always compared me to you. Why can't you be more focused like Sophia? Why can't you find a nice, stable career like your sister? I listened, surprised. I always thought they favored you completely. They did, in many ways. But their favor came with conditions. I had to be their perfect, charming daughter. You got to be authentic. You built a real life with real friends and real accomplishments. I just performed. That still doesn't explain why you would sabotage my wedding. Tears filled her eyes. When you got engaged to Jason, I saw how happy you were, how complete your life seemed. Patrick had just proposed, but it felt hollow, like another performance. I wanted what you had, and when I couldn't have it, I wanted to destroy it. It was petty and cruel and unforgivable. Yes, it was, I agreed, not willing to minimize the harm. I'm not asking for forgiveness, she said quickly. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I understand what I did, and I'm getting help to make sure I never do anything like that again. That first conversation was awkward and painful, but it was a beginning. In the months that followed, Harper continued therapy. She eventually moved out of our parents' house and started a job as an administrative assistant, her first real employment not in entertainment. My relationship with my parents slowly evolved. They made genuine efforts to know me as I am now, not as the child they had neglected. My mother called regularly, not to talk about Harper, but to ask about my work, my interests, my life with Jason. My father sent articles related to my field and asked thoughtful questions. For the first time in my life, I felt seen by my family. Not completely, not perfectly, but genuinely. The wall of resentment I had built over decades began to develop small cracks, letting in slivers of possibility. Naomi and I had a much more difficult path to reconciliation. When she discovered the truth, she was devastated. She sent flowers, cards, emails, desperate to explain. I ignored them all for weeks. The betrayal was still too fresh and painful. Eventually, I agreed to a phone call. "I should have called you directly," she said, her voice thick with regret. "I should have known you would never just replace me without talking to me first. We've been friends for too long for that." "Yes, you should have," I agreed. "That's what hurts the most. You believed the worst about me without even asking if it was true." "I have no excuse," she admitted. "I can only say that I am sorry, and I will spend as long as it takes trying to rebuild your trust if you will let me." Rebuilding trust is harder than building it the first time. With Naomi, the process was slow. We started with occasional texts, then coffee once a month, gradually working our way back to something resembling friendship, though the easy closeness we once shared remained elusive. Allison, surprisingly, became a close friend. She rescued my wedding day, and we continued to meet regularly for lunch, becoming part of our extended social circle. On our first anniversary, Jason and I decided to have a small dinner party at our apartment. Nothing elaborate, just a simple celebration with close friends and family. My parents came, bringing a photo album they had created, full of pictures from my childhood and accomplishments they had previously overlooked. Harper came too, bringing a thoughtful gift and a quiet presence, still working on finding her authentic self. During dinner, Jason clinked his glass to make an announcement. He looked at me, eyes twinkling, and I nodded. "We wanted to wait until today to tell everyone," he said, reaching for my hand. "Sophia and I are expecting. The baby is due in June." The table erupted in genuine joy. My mother cried happy tears. My father beamed with pride, and Harper hugged me gently, whispering, "You're going to be an amazing mother," in my ear. Later that night, after everyone had left, Jason asked, "Are you happy with how things are now with your family?" I considered the question carefully. "I'm at peace with it," I answered honestly. "It's not perfect, and there are still moments when the old hurt resurfaces, but we're building something new, something healthier. That's enough for now." I placed a hand on my still flat stomach. "And with the baby coming, I want our child to know their grandparents and aunt, but with healthy boundaries. I want to break the cycle of favoritism and emotional neglect. Our child will never wonder if they are loved or if they're enough." The journey from that wedding day to now has been challenging, filled with difficult conversations and painful realizations. But it has also been illuminating. I learned that families aren't static entities, but dynamic relationships that can evolve and heal with genuine effort and accountability. I learned that sometimes the greatest gift we can give ourselves is setting clear boundaries, demanding the respect we deserve, and being willing to walk away from relationships that consistently diminish us, even when those relationships are with family. Most importantly, I learned that forgiveness is not a single act, but a process. One that happens in its own time and cannot be forced or rushed. True forgiveness comes not from forgetting the hurt, but from understanding it, processing it, and choosing to move forward with new awareness and stronger boundaries. As I look toward the future, preparing to create a family of my own with Jason, I carry these lessons with me. I am no longer the daughter desperately seeking approval and acknowledgement from parents who couldn't provide it. I am a woman who knows her worth, who has built a life filled with genuine love and respect, and who chooses each day to nurture relationships that nurture me in return. Sometimes, the heart must break completely before it can heal into something stronger. My heart broke that day when I stood alone at my wedding. But from that breaking came a strength and clarity I might never have found otherwise. And for that, despite everything, I am grateful. Call to action. This whole journey has made me think so much about relationships. Have you ever had to rebuild trust with someone who deeply hurt you? How did you find that balance between forgiveness and protecting yourself from being hurt again? Tell me what you think. I really want to hear your experiences in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more real-life journeys like mine. Thank you for listening to my story. Remember, healing isn't about erasing the scars, but about wearing them with the knowledge that you survived something difficult and emerged stronger.